Hello, Sarah.
Hey.
How's it going?
All is well.
All is well.
Yeah.
Where are we right now?
We are in this place that you sent me location to. That I don't know, what was the name again of this one?
Baristro.
Yeah. Chiang Mai. Good morning, Chiang Mai.
Good morning, Chiang Mai.
I like the Good Morning New Yorker. I don't know if you listen to that
I don't.
radio.
But tell me about it.
I love the fact that it goes like, "Good morning, New Yorkers. Today, blah blah blah," and the vibe and her energy, the way that she talks,
Lively.
kind of like motivates you to kind of like get up,
Yeah.
go get your things done.
Get after it.
Yeah.
Yeah. New York is a place where a lot gets done. But also, it's a place where a lot of things to get done are created. So it's not necessarily...
Is it really?
Yeah, a lot of jobs, a lot of things to do. Yeah, I lived in New York for like 3-4 years.
Okay, how was it? Tell me about it. No, you have the tea.
I do have the tea. Like my first life memories, because I grew up in Turkey until 6 years old, but my parents, I was taken care of by my grandma.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's really cool actually.
Yeah.
But when I was 7 years old, my dad said, "We have an opportunity. Just pack your bags and we're going to New York." And I was like, wow. So my first actual memories, like going to school and like meeting people and socializing and because I hadn't really been to school in Turkey at all. So I started kindergarten over there.
Oh,
and it's I mean, from a rural place and where
lovely.
To New York is just like a huge shift. It's awesome, but at the same time it's like another feeling like Istanbul, like where like big mega cities have this similar vibe where
you kind of feel like it's a copy paste type of thing if they don't tell you the location. It's like what you have inside malls and stuff.
Yes.
It's like it's the same.
yes
Anywhere you go.
The layout, like you said, copy paste is a very, very good analogy, because the layout is, I think the city planners look at what works in a place and they say, okay, we're gonna do this because in X place that's how it is, and if the geography and everything works out, maybe sometimes the geography doesn't even work out, they still do it because it works, or / it makes money, which is like the concern for a lot of places like New York.
True, definitely.
Where did we get here from? I came here from Istanbul. Where did you come here from?
From Algeria.
Tell me about growing up in Algeria.
What area specifically do you want me to highlight? There's like a lot of things.
You could just start from the earliest memories you have.
Childhood was fun thing, because this is something about it. It used to be like the smartest kid there, and I used to be like the first one, like getting my work done and making everyone proud and stuff. Then middle school, I kind of didn't want to be like the be achiever of the family, carrying that title on my shoulder.
Is it a lot of expectation?
Exactly. It's like, I remember telling my sister, like, yo, don't be the first, don't work a lot.
Are you the oldest, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, like, they will be having like a lot of expectations out of you, and you will have to kind of like please them.
Yes.
My parents and stuff. So yeah,
Come on, honey, make us proud.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, okay, I ditched that. I think that I ditched that mindset from that era. Yeah.
No. So growing up, you were distinguished from your peers from school or in other contexts, maybe in the neighborhood and whatnot, then your parents mainly, and probably your family, and then because there's this thing, in Asian families, you know, the get-togethers like in after Ramadan or like there's like, oh, like see what Sarah did, and then like they're like displaying all your freaking like achievements and all that, and then you're like, oh damn. Like,
I think like it's mostly like a proud moment of the parents, like you want to just say like, or brag about it. Oh, my kid is like doing this and that. I kind of didn't want to have it because it was like super uncomfortable.
Yes.
I think that when I think about it, it was pretty much like sometimes when we don't like stuff, we don't like the hype that comes out of them. When you like something and people hype you for it, you'd be happy because you like it. But if you don't like something and people start hyping you, it just bothers you even more. So the more that you can, you know, stay away from it, the better for you to kind of like live peacefully.
Yes. So the hype is not real.
Exactly.
Well, the hype is real for the things that you care about and you love, right? And when did you realize that it wasn't what you wanted, like satisfying the, like, make us proud?
I guess this thing is common between people, like the firstborn child. They kind of like your family, your parents will have like a lot of expectations out of you. You know, like you're their first project. Right. They want it to be successful project, you know. So yeah, it's like I can't just make everyone proud. I can't.
But was it like a moment in, let's say, like third grade, I realized, like, after, you know, turning in my 742nd like perfect project?
I don't actually remember. All I know, it was like something that shifted within my childhood. Like I thought of like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be the person that is having like, I don't want to be the main topic at the table. Like I just want to have another person taking that. I don't want it. So I successfully, you know, had that happening for me. And I guess that was pretty much it.
So then it wasn't necessarily a moment per se, but it's more like my mindset is changing over the years.
Exactly.
And this is where I don't want to be. And what took its place? What took the achiever's place?
I was obsessed with self-development and chasing opportunities like outside of the country. And I remember like sending emails to, you know, different companies within the US, UK and stuff, like just asking if I can be an intern and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. So then like I ended up in a platform where it's like for apprentices, things like this. And then there I met my mentor. Yeah. And he is such a great person. Like when it comes up to
I'm sorry, what did you say? You met your
mentor?
Oh, your mentor.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. This is something we want to talk about.
Juicy.
Yes, this is perfect. So who is this mentor, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, of course. He's Manish Balakrishnan, and he is like Indian, but he lives in the US. Yeah, he runs a couple of businesses.
Nice.
Yeah. So he was like, I can say teaching me and kind of like reparenting me when it comes up to business.
Because you don't have a business savvy background from the family, right?
Exactly.
Like what their vision of success is academically. Are you killing it? You know, are you bringing all the good grades?
So it's like I come from a family where they have this perspective of like 9 to 5 is great.
Right, that's
and
the norm.
It worked for them. Like they managed to raise four kids. It's like within today's economy, can I actually manage to raise 4 kids?
Probably not.
Exactly.
Or you would, but it wouldn't be it wouldn't
sufficient.
cut exactly.
Yeah. So that was like the moment for me where I started learning more and more.
And I'm assuming Algeria is like, that's when I meant when I said like, oh, like how was it growing up there? The environment is not very conducive for like female entrepreneurs to take off.
I cannot really assume that because I've never actually thought of starting a business there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was never in your
It
realm of
was
possibility.
never in my
Okay,
radar.
okay,
Like, I was
okay.
like, no, I gotta do something different. I want to do this, that, and the other. I mean, like, it's still a great market for a lot of females nowadays.
Sure.
Like, you get to see like a lot of businesses thriving and stuff.
Yes.
But it wasn't for me. Like, yeah.
Yeah. No, I say this because just being from Turkey and observing some Asian countries over here, the patriarchy runs deep, and there's a place for everyone.
Exactly.
And you, even as a man, you know, like you cannot outshine the master. It's kind of the basic fundamentals.
Yeah.
You can't even challenge your teachers. They
Yeah.
will generally have like some backlash, and from that
Kick you out.
yeah, exactly. So that's not a good like environment. It's not a conducive environment
Yeah.
for individuals in general, not just females, but
Got it.
to achieve. So that's why I asked.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've never thought of it as such. Yeah, it was always like just learning, getting my.
And when did your fascination begin with like the Western counterparts of the world?
What do you mean by like my fascination? Is it like for.
For the language, because your English is immaculate.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like, did you live somewhere to acquire this level of English?
Not
or-
really, because pretty much when I started this journey, I was focusing on like connecting with more people within the US industry and business industry as such. And it was helpful for me to kind of like just, communicate at that level. And that time I was also having like my master degree at strategic management. So I had to kind of like learn more about that side from people that I consider leaders. And that kind of like helped achieving that
Right.
somehow. Yeah. But pretty much like I reached a point where I couldn't really put a perspective that I learned, business wise from English side
Right.
into Arabic. I remember going to some professors and stuff, and I was like, I want to be honest with you. And they'd be like, okay, tell me. And I'd be like, well, I know everything about like your module and your course, but the problem is like I don't know anything in Arabic. It's like that's the problem that I'm having here. So I don't understand it. I don't understand the questions, even though they're like my mother language. So I can read it. I don't know what that keyword means until it's like in English or something. So I can understand what to put as an answer for that.
That's super fascinating, Sarah. So, when did you first start studying English?
I think middle school, yeah.
And before that, you were communicating in Arabic with everyone.
Arabic, French, yeah, Arabic,
French.
French.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then once you met English,
I
was
ditched
it-
everything else.
you were like, okay, everything else started trash. I'll just
Yeah,
focus on
exactly.
this.
So it's like the Arabic side of it, it's like I just use it with my family and stuff, which is helpful. But when
Yeah.
it comes up to business, if I'm having like, this is actually a challenge as well. I don't know if people go through it as such, but I can do my job in Arabic, but it's gonna be like a different journey for me to learn how to cope with that language, know how to convince with that language, especially doing sales and this and that and the other. So it's a different shift.
I see. I
Yeah.
see. Yeah. Well, temperaments are different. The people have a different way of thinking. I feel like their
Exactly.
gears turn different in different languages.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. So,
Yeah.
in middle school, you start studying English, and from that point onwards, the culture's business aspect is very appealing to you.
Yeah. I love that side. I felt like I'm being so creative to learn about other stuff, do my own thing, be free. That's kind of like my definition of freedom.
Yeah, I think the self-development is gateway to entrepreneurship business anyway.
Yeah, nobody would put you into this, but it's not about the business and making money. It's about you and how you are gonna become. And from time to time, we be facing some scenarios where it really gonna affect you, unlock some anger issues you've had before.
Yes.
So you will have to learn how to deal with that somehow. And I remember yesterday I was telling my mentor, like, I don't know, like, there's like two sides to this. Like, the negative side is like, I'm just gonna be crazy if I deal with this scenario. The positive side is like, getting out of this scenario is actually an achievement for me. So it's like, okay, it's you against you.
Yes. And that's most, I don't know, would you say that's life?
I'd say like it's a journey, and I wouldn't say like it's life, because life happening for us, not to us. So when it's happening for you, like, you'll be expecting every single surprise.
Yes.
You know, like, whether it's a good surprise or a bad surprise, you're just gonna accept it somehow. Yeah.
No, the strife part I was talking about, how you versus you is kind of this reoccurring theme in a lot of people's lives at some point. Some people like early on, some people later on, but I guess it manifests itself in everyone's life in one way or another.
Yeah. It's like that moment when you also meet another entrepreneur that is walking the same journey, and you'd be like, oh my God, same. You'd be like related to a lot of things, because I guess it's, again, like a journey, but it depends on like how you're dealing with it, how you're like, you know, coping with the whole thing. Yeah.
So the mentor, we kind of like glazed over that. At which point did you meet your mentor? Was it in uni? Was it after uni?
Not really. It's like when I moved to Thailand, it was like our first meeting after 3 years of like remotely doing things together.
Oh,
like,
so you first made contact with this person 3 years ago?
yeah. No. For now, it's like it's been 4 out of 5. I think 5 years now.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a long journey.
And were you studying when you met your mentor?
Yeah,
Okay,
I was studying.
okay.
I finished like my bachelor degree, business administration, and then I was like just doing my master.
Which was on strategic.
Yeah. So it aligned with a lot of things that I'm doing right now, which is podcasting and stuff related to numbering, related to growth and all. So it all aligned together.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what was it? Sort of webinar? What medium did you meet this person? Were you seeking this person out specifically?
No, it was pretty much, as I told you, like, it was like a platform that looked for like interns and stuff. So it's like you're gonna have like some offers from some companies and stuff, and it depends upon like your skills, what you want to learn and what they are offering and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, it was fun. It was fun because I started as someone that is doing strategies and drawing plans and stuff. And I had to learn it from, I consider him the best.
Okay.
So I had to learn that aspect of this era, and yeah.
Now, how important do you think is a mentor in anyone's life?
100% important, at least for me. It's like having someone that is knowing exactly how you're thinking and what is going on that phase, because he walked that walk before. So it's like he's not gonna solve your problems for you or like take actions and
You gotta
stuff.
do the work.
Yeah, you gotta do the work. But pretty much it's like the feel, I guess for me it's like the feeling of like not being alone pretty much, and having someone that actually understand what you're going through. Because when you be like sharing your information, let's say like even if you try to share it with your parents that actually are from a different experience, they won't get it.
Yeah.
They'd be like, pack up your bags, come home. We have food here. We have everything. You could just come back.
And you're like, you ain't got the answers, Mom.
Exactly.
You ain't got the answers.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel that.
So it's like, okay, pretty much that's how I consider having a mentor.
How does one choose the right mentor for them?
You gotta be willing to to go through the pain point of facing who you really are.
Oh.
You know, like, that's actually how I get to, you know, learn more about my mentor and spend all these years with him, like, having me as a mentee. I'm still proud to say I'm a mentee.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty much like from time to time, you know, like we're afraid to show that, oh my God, I have this problem and stuff. But with your mentor, you cannot hide that. You will be like 100% willing to be vulnerable and to showcase what is that one area that is, you know, probably holding you back. Probably it's you getting in your way, you know? So it's like, that's the point.
But I think you're talking about the part where you meet the mentor, and then you have this sort of ongoing relationship. But what I'm asking is, I'm fresh off the banana boat.
Okay.
I just graduated, or I'm still studying.
Okay.
I'm not even sure if I want to do business, but I kind of have a feeling like I do. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just doing it because everyone else is doing it. Maybe I want to do it because I want to do it.
It's not a place for you.
Oh, okay. Like you have to be 100%
I feel like, yeah, this is why we have like today's type of employees where they show up with like, oh, I'm a social media manager. You get them, you hire them, and you have like their, you know, expectations met from benefits and stuff. But then you don't see pretty much the result. And then when you have like a vulnerable conversation with them of like, oh, they be like, oh, I was doing this and that. I felt like social media is a place where, you know, I can thrive. I felt. And I did this and that and the other. So it's like I've had experience with this company and that and the other. So it depends upon like versus someone that is like, I'm passionate about this. I was thriving at this and that and the other. I've done this, that, and the other. So you see, like, you can differentiate between, like, I kind of felt like everyone are doing it, and I started doing it, versus, like, oh, it's my passion. It's something that I spent years on, you know? So the first thing is, like, you have to at least have a clear understanding of, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? And then after that, once you know, like, for example, okay, I'm into marketing, I'm into sales, or I'm into this and that and the other, then it's easy. You start like looking for companies that are like offering places or internships or apprenticeship into their, you know, company where they offer like certain skills that, you know, for you to learn.
One more layer back then, because I'm trying to get some like guidance for people who like are at the point where they don't even know what they want, you know, because there's so many people in life, especially, you know, kids in university these days. There's not a lot of like pathways that are it's like so many different things you can do, so it's really hard for a lot of people to be like,
let me ask you this, Fatah. You brought something beautiful. Do you actually know what you want?
I think that's a journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't really define, but then you like doing podcasts, right?
Yes.
It's something that you want to do. So this is something that you can say, like, I'm a podcaster, I'm passionate about this and that, the other, but you cannot like talk about their like lifetime of like what they want to do and stuff, because nobody figured that out, let me tell you. Like nobody, even the person that like they got their, you know, stuff together and they're good to go do this, that, and the other. There is something.
Is it then paying attention to what gets you excited, or something like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first
So like
thing.
follow that feeling of whatever.
I'm excited about it. Yeah. You're excited about traveling the world and making money while traveling. So yeah, maybe traveling, digital nomading is for you. You get to work from coffee shops. Like where are we? Like right now you're recording this podcast the same way. So yeah.
Sweet. So then before tell me about the time where you were actively pursuing business and opportunities before you had a mentor, and how it changed after you have a mentor. Was it like the steps more clearly defined, or Like what was different?
Okay, yeah. So that part, it was pretty much like just looking for where I fit in, which was wrong. Don't do it.
All right.
Because
Why?
sometimes some of us are not built to fit in. We're just built to have like our own stuff and kind of like just be creative with it, find our way with it. I don't know, maybe later on you can find a place where you can fit your skill set into, but not fully fit in. Like, you're not a box.
Right.
Because some days I'm a box, some days I'm a triangle, so it depends upon like what jet you met me.
Yes. Super malleable.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was like just trying. I wasn't trying. I was actually pretty much doing. Like I was just looking for places where I can, as I said, fit into this, do that, just to learn. Because my excitement was just learning.
Nice.
And just seeing where I can like have more knowledge on something, more experience on something. So I started with like strategy and sales at the same time. I like both of them.
Nice.
And then marketing.
What? Tell me more about like if you were to give like a sentence summary of what these things are, what would they be? Sales, strategy, and marketing.
Someone who is trying to find like an apprenticeship. I can't really give a direct, quote to that, because pretty much it depends upon like what they like and stuff.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, but then like I would say like give yourself time to learn, give yourself time also to experience like the position, and at the same time it's like think far than what you already have. Like, okay, I'm learning this now, 5 years from now, like I'm probably gonna start a business or do this or do that. So you can start building that kind of dream for yourself and
With
stuff.
the end in mind.
Yeah, so you have it in the back of the mind, because you'll be learning something, let's say for a business, and then you'll be like, oh my god, this is really beautiful. Maybe in the future I'm gonna, at least I will build some manuals that would help like my team to, drive business development and stuff. And then later on you're gonna learn sales. So it's like you'll be learning how to sell something, a product or whatever. So whatever you're gonna contribute to that company is actually coming back to you. And if you go with the mindset of like, oh, I'm not doing too much, I'm giving more than receiving, then quit immediately.
Yes.
And stop this. And then ask yourself the question of like, is this something that I'm gonna build in the future? Is this something that is gonna, help me whatsoever to move on with my career? If the answer is no, then your decision is amazing. Go for it.
Okay. So
Yeah.
there is, I think in this day, more and more people getting into like getting bit by the entrepreneur bug, as it were. And it's more than ever that there's one person businesses, people just working at jobs and then feeling like I can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can do that better.
Yeah.
And then they quit and then actually like get to a place where they could exhibit these skills and make like take the risks but also reap the rewards as well. Do you see that expanding even more and more as we move forwards?
Yeah, and it's amazing to see it actually. It's amazing to see that people can learn from a place and see maybe they gave some feedback and stuff to that company, and then they're not seeing any improvement. So they said like, okay, let me show you how we can cook.
Let her cook.
Let her cook. Yeah, exactly.
So then, how did you start revolving around the podcast idea? Was it always in the back of your head, or is it more of a recent thing? What was the idea behind podcasting?
Okay, so it was like it was like my mentor idea. Yeah. and then we started just working around it together. Like just kind of like, you know, like when you start something from scratch of like, that's my baby. You know. So pretty much it was like, okay, this is the idea of like working around growing podcasts. It started simple of like just doing production, marketing to promote the growth of a podcast and spread awareness when we kind of like do the production. Over time, we changed that idea into B2B, you know, type of solution where it's now a, what we do is like we build solid marketing tools that generates revenue through podcasting. So we actually build a brand around a podcast. We just don't just do like the production and marketing as we started, but pretty much we handle the entire podcast where it can replace your entire marketing team with just one podcast.
Oh wow, okay.
So it's like it also depends upon like what do you want to attract out of your podcast, because we do have like solutions to build some lead magnets, and pretty much what we do there is like to attract maybe your ideal clients, maybe whatever. So it depends upon like also generating the topics, showcasing your areas of expertise. So do you see the power of this? Like right here, one thing, like for example, your podcast is like to attract like entrepreneurs that are like looking for, let's say, help with their businesses, and you know happen to be one of the coaches that is like walking people here and there. So pretty much, you know, your way of like providing solution during this podcast is pretty much gonna be like showcasing your skills. So it's like you don't have to build like a lot of, you know, strategies around, you know, how to attract that, but right now you can verbally say it during this podcast, and later on like you will have like content, you will have like you know, clips out of it. So just one episode can be like a full month of content.
Yes.
And then later on you can, you know, work on like your sales funnels of like how do you want to use that to attract those people. So yeah, this is the idea now. So it's like it's around like building the brand of a podcast, generating like revenue out of it, you know, monetization as well is part of it. And yeah, this is how we're having fun.
Wow, that's awesome. So it began as we're a podcasting agency that handles the podcast itself, but now it's sort of like a replacement of marketing. So instead of doing all your socials, we'll just get you on one podcast. We can create dozens of little clips and shorts that we can plug into all the socials. And it's a viable alternative to actually like hiring the social media managers, hiring the like paid ads people and all that stuff. Wow, that's really fascinating. I had no idea. I thought because I knew it was kind of an agency model where you help people, but that part where you mentioned it was not just handling the. Well, I have a question then. So when you say we handle all the podcast, the person who comes to you and says, okay, like please handle this part of my business, do they speak on the podcast? Is it like them? Oh, okay.
They just take care of their content creation, because mostly people like to talk and like to, you know, showcase their areas of expertise and stuff. So we let them handle that part of this and that. We do have like services where, you know, like we get someone to host the podcast for them, but the best case scenario is always like them actually showcasing their areas of expertise.
Yeah, it wouldn't make a lot of sense if someone else just showcase my area of expertise.
If they are big enough, if it's like a bigger company, then I would say like, yeah, they do have like a lot of alternatives to give like this. This is also an opportunity for people that are like hosting podcasts and they like to do that.
Oh, I see.
So yeah.
So you could be a spokesperson almost for a company.
Yes.
Wow. Can you tell us about one experience in, you know, this particular example of like finding a, you know, podcaster who's also doing, you know, spokespeople, being a spokesperson for other companies?
Yeah, so it's mostly like, a bigger company with like different, let's say, different branch and stuff, and they are looking for someone to, like, let's say an example, to host their content. So what they do, they ask us, okay, like, this is the idea of the podcast, this is what we want to accomplish out of it, and these are like the areas that we want to showcase. Again, like, we don't work with people that actually don't have like a financial goal for their podcast, because pretty much when they have a financial goal, like attracting clients, attracting audience, growing this, growing that, then it's pretty much like it's just gonna drain them at a certain point, and they feel like, okay, I'm just burning my money, you know. But it's a journey. Like, podcasting is a journey, and it needs to, you know, like, it needs some investment so you can see the reward out of it.
I see.
So yeah, we kind of like handle.
Where do the investments go mainly?
So it goes between like the entire production, marketing, and the attraction of, like, you know, like your lead magnet. It depends upon like what you want to attract out of your content. So yeah, that's mainly it. But pretty much it's also from a digital marketing perspective, you know, some content that is, you know, required from time to time that is going to attract, you know, sponsors and bigger brands. So yeah, think bigger.
Yeah. So it's positioning the podcast so that it's more, there's a higher chance of these companies actually catching on to, or like sponsors, or the type of people that you want to attract, basically. Like, make it noticeable for these people. Like, put it somewhere obvious where they can see. So paid media is also a part of this, right?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. And so did you recently just start doing the podcast yourself, as in like we're publishing episodes with people, or is it more...
Okay, I like this question.
Yeah? Okay, cool.
The podcast idea was pretty much just showing people how they should get it done.
Nice.
If they have some investment, some money to invest into like good studios and this and that and the other. I mean, like, my entire team handles it. But it started like I was just, you know, sitting and I was like, okay, I want to like talk to more entrepreneurs. I wanted to connect with people at my level and have like just conversations.
Nice.
And it's not scripted. It's just they sit down. It's similar to, you know, your podcast. So this
is how you should get it done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's like, I would just have them there kind of like for, let's say, 1 hour, 40 minute, 30 minute, depends upon like their conversation and stuff, and we just chat. Later on, like, we produce like tons of content out of it. Keeps my entire you know, platforms busy for months.
Wow. So I think this is the part where I'm asking for free advice. What I do is I record all these hours.
Okay.
And not do much after the whole, like, oh, like, this part was good, that part was good, this part was good, that part was good. I'm just focused on getting as many episodes out as possible, because I feel like it's the whole, like, the entirety that is special for me. But what's special for me doesn't necessarily reflect what people consume these days. And long form content, I'm realizing that there needs to be a different way that I go about it. So maybe you can talk to me.
Sure. Yeah.
About
so
that.
When it comes up to your podcast, let's just start from there.
Okay.
Do you consider it more like a hobby, or is it, let's say, something that you want to have or build a business around in the future?
I wouldn't mind building a business around it, but I'm treating it as a hobby at this point.
Yeah. So this is the main issue with people that are considering their podcast a hobby. Here's the thing.
Yes.
When you consider it as a hobby, everything you do, you kind of like, just as you said, you post it out, right? You have a new episode, you put it out. You think that maybe this clip is, or makes sense for me, you probably would put it out. You're doing this content for you.
Yes.
once you start thinking of like, I want to scale this into actually a solid marketing tool for me as Fateh, that would help me generate revenue from like just, you know, building this content, right? After that, what you would do is like start studying your audience.
Okay.
From where you're gaining your audience, who they are, and where you want to reach. Okay, let's say your audience are Gen Z, one of them. And you wanted to kind of like attract more of these, so you want to go and see where they are spending their most of the time. TikTok, Instagram. When you put clips, put tons of them. You're gonna test. Marketing is not magic. It's just testing and kind of like seeing what is doing better. So you see like the time that you would dedicate for it, because it's now a business, not a hobby. Like you would just also schedule the content according to what you saw. Like for example, I had like a meeting. I do like a report monthly with my team and staff, and when we had like a conversation at a certain point, we have a client that is like thriving on like meditation and stuff. So that client came back to us saying like, oh, I want to talk about this topic next week, and we said like immediately no. You have to continue on that path, because from an SEO perspective, you're doing better. We need to maintain that. So we need you to talk more about it, because we're getting like the attention that we worked so hard for. Right. So yeah, this is something that you might consider. Like, okay, this is the content. I'm just gonna clip a lot of things, put them out on media, see which one is doing better, and then at least having a pattern of like, okay, this part is what attracts most of like my audience into listen to my podcast.
That's really good insight there. Yeah, thank you.
Most welcome.
It makes a lot of sense, because I guess the only part that I have reservations about is this project of mine is for lifetime. It's not like I'll do it today and maybe tomorrow and it's literally like I'm
scale it.
But I'm like, when people ask me why I do it, it's generally for selfish reasons, where when I'm 55 years old, I want to see at 1st of May 2024, I was having a delightful conversation with Sarah, and she was telling me all the things that I should do, and I did it, and now I'm rich. Hey. Something like this. So it's more of like a public dialogue journal, where it's the people I meet, it's the taste of, because I don't know, do you believe in free will, or is it predestined?
What do you mean, like free will?
It's like a super hard shift into what we were just talking about. Do you think everything happens for a reason, or do you think it's just random?
Both of them actually are.
Good answer. Because that's the true answer. I think in one sense, like you said, it's like everything is happening for a reason, but in another sense, it's like randomly happening for a reason. So then my long-term aim for this podcast is to have a wide database of conversations that I've had with people in different times, and maybe I can see for my life, like, oh, like this led to that led to this, and this led to that, and that led, maybe it could be like a like way to keep the story straight, as it were. But in another way, like you mentioned, if you want to build a business around it, then the attitude has to be a little different.
I mean, like, I get a lot of these type of conversation with people that are like considering their podcast a hobby. I'm sorry, I cannot really work with such a model, because we are mostly into, as I told you, building a brand around the podcast. But then like I give them the shift of like, it's all start within like how you think about the podcast. It's not that you can't make money and considering it as a hobby. You can actually make money and you're still having fun with it, but you just have to involve something that you're avoiding, which is planning.
There we go.
Because like when you're doing it as a hobby, it's like having fun with it, putting it out, it's for you, and it will always stay only for you. if you want to have like more exposure and have like more people join in that beautiful conversation, you will have to do some planning behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
There you go.
Nice.
Exactly.
Nice. So you mentioned that this podcast Inc. was kind of your mentors. You ideated this with your mentor together, right?
No, it was his idea. Me contributing with work.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But because we started it like from zero together, it's so fun to kind of like call it my baby.
Hey, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And from then, like, did you have podcasting as an idea for yourself, or like was it ever an interest of yours?
I think like as I have like one of my guests saying like you kind of you don't choose the path. The path chooses you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I felt like that this path chooses me. Like I don't know, there's something about it that makes me feel like it's the right path for me.
Nice. So your gut and your heart and your mind all say yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you follow it.
Yeah, I followed it.
Sweet.
The idea is beautiful, and I believe like it's super successful idea if you get to think of like how many podcasts we've helped so far, and the results that we achieved and stuff. So yeah, I'm actually having fun with it. Within the ups, the downs, I'm happy.
Yeah, I heard on, I think it was copywriting course, Neville Medhora. I don't know if you know this guy. He does copywriting. Anyway, I want you to talk to me about this. He said podcasts are like the new church. So people go to podcasts to get informed about the world around them, in them. There's different podcasts, obviously. Yeah. So how would you take a riff on that?
Have you been to the gym recently? People are not listening to music anymore. Most of them are listening to podcasts.
Yes.
If we get to think more about this, most people start enjoying like conversations and people talking. And some of them might use some podcasts for motivation. Some of them, they like the conversation. It's like, especially for those people that are like living alone and stuff, they like to have like, you know, some background noise, which is like people talking.
Yes.
And they like to have like some informations with that. So I'm guessing, not guessing, I'm 100% sure like the market of podcasts are growing simply because, you know, there are like a lot of listeners join it. And for people that are like thinking, oh my God, I cannot start a podcast in this area simply because we have this one best person that is producing that. No. Like, my answer to that will always be like, if we don't have, you know, if we decided like the best brand is Chanel, we don't have Fendi. We're not gonna have like, I don't know. So it's like most brands are kind of like doing the same thing, but then like it depends upon like our preferences of like, okay, I like Gucci, I like this, I like that, right? So it's similar to podcasts. Maybe, yeah, this person is the best person in like personal development or like conversational content, but Fatih is doing like the best conversational content because we feel alive within the podcast. There are like a lot of things around him, but still like we managed to continue focusing with each other on the content. So yeah.
So there's big enough cake for everybody.
Yeah. Just go.
So don't let it discourage you if you want to start a podcast.
Yeah.
Because there's enough room for every one of us.
Yeah. You just have to be like authentic. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, see, that's the question. I think, can you fake authenticity? Have you gotten to a point of AI where we can fake authenticity?
I guess like you can know when you're not being authentic and you're just faking something. You feel it. Like I bet everyone go through this. Like you just know like, oh my God, that was so cringe.
Yeah.
And then, but it's okay. Like I feel like when you're not aware of that thing, then you are being authentic. When you're aware of like that cringe, you know you're not being authentic.
And that's kind of a step towards the right direction.
Yeah.
Where cringing is the sort of gateway into.
There are like different ways of it. Like there's different coping mechanism to that.
Right.
As such. Like for me personally, like I do have like moments where I laugh a lot. I like laughing.
Nice.
But then like I feel like, oh my god, that wasn't needed during that situation. I just need to kind of like, be more aware of it.
So it's like a stress release, or like a
Exactly.
like a coping mechanism for you, laughing.
Exactly.
I see. I
Yeah.
see. But it's, again, I think it's a step towards the right direction where you're kind of admitting to it.
Yeah, I'm aware of it. I'm totally aware of it.
Yes.
Even when I see it, I'll be like, oh, cringe. Painful.
I'm laughing, but
Yeah.
I am free.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nice. So, okay, we've established that there's enough space for everybody.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yes. Join us. And we've also talked about how authenticity, maybe you think you could fake it, you'll get to a point where you realize it, but how about the audience? The audience always knows, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no, like, they will always know when you're being real, when you're not being real.
Yeah.
But how do we get closer to authenticity then? How do we move, like, once we're aware of it, like, how do we?
I don't really have a clear answer to that. All I know is like I'm actually just aware of like when I'm not being authentic. Yeah.
Oh, you know when it's not it.
Yeah. When I'm like being myself, and I consider being myself as, being authentic, I'm not aware of it.
Okay.
I'm just being myself, having the conversation, going through this, doing that. I'm not aware of it. But when I'm like not being myself, I'm kind of like faking some parts of this, then I feel like, okay, I'm not being authentic.
So once you realize that you're constructing something,
Yeah.
then it's like, okay,
Doesn't feel right.
that ain't it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's good to have these sort of internal, like, going back to what we were talking about, how do we find the path for us?
Yeah.
It's like so many paths to choose, and one thing would be, follow that good feeling, follow what that gut says, like what gets me excited. Like these little indicators are super useful, I think, to know, because like so many of us go through life without really knowing what we see. We think we're looking at something, but it's not what we're actually looking at. It's something else. And to have these like little indicators of, okay, like this is truly the path that I should be on, or maybe not, or okay, this is not it.
Here's the thing, like even when you are, at least for me, even when you believe like 100% this is the path for me, you will have some moments where you doubt yourself, and you doubt the whole path, and you doubt every single decision you've ever made to be on that path. It's something like common between all of us entrepreneurs. We doubt from time to time, but the thing here is pretty much to know how to deal with yourself when you are in a doubt moment. And that's, for me, that's why I was like saying like it's 100% to have a mentor, because from time to time you will need to have like that tough conversation of like, I don't know if this is for me.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's just me like acting up or like going crazy, or it's because of the stress that I'm getting from this, that, and the other, but I don't know, I want to do something else. So at least you will have someone else that is, listening and actively listening and kind of like providing you with like ideas, more ideas, not what you want to do or what you don't want to do, but more ideas. Okay, I want to do this, go. And then once you feel yourself like, oh no, I don't want to do this, I don't want, then like, oh, this is the path for me.
I heard recently that when you experience struggle and roadblocks, that about something that you want to do, it's the universe's way of affirming to you that, okay, like, do you really want it?
Yeah.
Like if you find something that you really want, then the universe kind of tests you. And then there's all these like mishaps and like,
Yeah.
how to do it. Like, are you really gonna stick with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Connecting the dots.
Yeah. It's
Nice.
it's kind of like, how can I say this? It's part of the journey. But imagine going through it alone. You would drop this, go do something else, and then you feel like, oh my god, I really love doing that. I'm gonna come back. You're gonna pick it up. You're gonna hate it even more because, you know, like, you need to do some updates, update the system and stuff. So yeah, I feel like this is why it's helpful to, you know,
Yeah.
go through it with full emotions.
Beautiful. Oh, that's very, very insightful. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, most welcome.
So, everyone has a different reason for it, but I would love to hear why Thailand, why Chiang Mai from your perspective.
It's peaceful.
Nice.
Thailand, I don't know. I felt like it was calling me, and plus it was like, I guess after COVID, that was the only option as well available for me to kind of like, okay, let me just start seeing the world once they opened the airport. And I was like, okay, I'm leaving.
Get my bags.
Got my bag. So yeah, it was Thailand. But Chiang Mai, because it's so peaceful, the community here of like entrepreneurs and digital nomads is so big that you can have like service exchange, you can have like more ideas. If you wanted to promote, you know, like your podcast, your business, your product, you know, like you have the group for it, and mostly like people from around the world. Like you be having like people from US, UK, Australia, even Asia, Japan, whatever, pick a country.
Yes.
All of them are there.
Yes.
So it's like you're in a place where you're being heard, because every time you post something or you talk, and you will be finding like people that kind of like even went through the same problem that you're going through, or they be providing you with the possible solutions simply because they lived here long enough to give you the right solution and stuff.
Word.
So yeah.
Yes, the international vibe here is, it's not unmatched. There's all of these other places in the world that you could, that Kuala Lumpur is one of these examples. You could still find these places, but I suppose the laid back nature of Thailand and how, I heard it yesterday, Thailand's the one place where there's a respect for enlightenment, you know?
Ooh.
Because it's like a Buddhist country. Then a lot of places in the world, there's no respect for this kind of, like, everyone's on a different level on the ladder, right? Some people are like, oh, okay, what is this, you know, enlightenment, like they're making fun of it. Other people acknowledge it. Other people revere it. And in Thailand, you can definitely feel that there's respect for, you know, the Buddha and all that stuff. So I think that's there's some byproducts of that, and maybe the reason why you said peace, like the first word was peace.
It was mostly nature. For me, peace is mostly nature, and I've never had, thank God, I've never had like trouble with people here. I only had like love, respect, help when needed. So yeah, I have like a lot of good things to say about this country. Yeah.
Sick. And did you have any other options like in mind? Maybe like I'll go here, maybe I'll go there.
Yeah, Malaysia was also an option, but I don't know. Thailand felt like so right. And I was like, okay, let's go Thailand.
Hey, did you go to Malaysia at all?
No.
No? Oh, you should check it out. It's pretty nice. Georgetown was somewhere that I thoroughly enjoyed.
You liked it?
Yeah.
What about the community there? Is it good?
Didn't stay long enough to feel the community. Just like 3 weeks. I spent in Georgetown, 1 week in Kuala Lumpur.
Compare Kuala Lumpur to Georgetown.
Chiang Mai, Bangkok, easy.
Oh, same vibe.
Yeah. I mean, as in like, if I compare those two places, like Kuala Lumpur would be metropole, anyone who's used to a New York kind of place, anyone who's used to a Dubai kind of place, will have the same sort of infrastructure, and food. My God, food is probably better than Thailand, for my taste, because
Turkish taste.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Spice game is really, really strong here and there as well, but I think there's a certain yes, Turkish taste, I guess, because I'm used to Muslim food cooking, so my palate is kind of calibrated to this kind of food.
Got it.
And when I eat some nasi kandar, like the chicken they make, the curries, there's a lot of curry over here too, but in Malaysia it's just different. It hits different. It's because I'm used to it that way, probably, but yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah. It's getting lunchtime anyway, right?
Yeah. But yeah,
Cool.
that's lovely. That's lovely that you spent time there in Malaysia as well. Happy for you.
How about Indonesia? Have you thought about Indonesia at all?
Bali, yeah.
Because that's
So
another digital nomad capital.
I'm heading soon to Malaysia. So I'm guessing like it would be like for me from there, I'll be touring around.
No. Yeah. And about digital nomads. So what is the negative sides of being a digital nomad?
Why?
Just to get a rounded idea.
No. I'm trying to put the negative side in a way that won't freak out people.
Okay.
I'm guessing it's from time to time the uncertainty. Some people cannot handle that. Like you're inside a country, you plan, let's say, for 2 months.
Yep.
For some rules, it's a country, you have to respect the rules. The rules change. Now you gotta either pack your bags, go find a place. Are you ready to deal with that kind of like uncertainty that would hit you from time to time? If the answer is yes, then go. Digital nomad is for you, because we all are working on like the uncertainty path. If you were like someone that needs like to be certain about something, cannot expect having like negative surprises from time to time, because like you gotta like surprises, whether they are like good as gifts and stuff, whether they are bad as as such. So if you cannot accept that, then yeah, it's not for you. But if you're someone that would just cope with it, that's totally fine. I've had like conversations with like some digital nomads where we had like this talk saying like, if you have a flight within like 6 hours from now, are you ready to board? They were like, yes.
Nice.
They already have like their backpacks ready.
It's like the movie Heat. You know the movie? It's like you gotta be able to like in 30 minutes get out of the situation.
Yeah, it's like an escape room.
Like
So it's like they're ready. This is common between all digital nomads. Like if plans are changing, ready. Let's go. Where we're going, we don't know. We're gonna figure it out.
Nice. Yeah, figure it out. That's a good way. That's the good way to live life. I mean, not just being an entrepreneur, but
exactly.
Because life is uncertain at the crux of it, and if you can deal that as a human being, that's amazing. You can do that with business, then you're prepared for anything.
I think the perspective changes once you're outside of your country, because within your country you have that certainty of like you have like your home, food in the fridge, this, that, and the other. Even if the rule change, you're still a citizen of that country. So it won't affect you that bad. It's just a new rule. You gotta cope with it. You gotta respect it. But once you're outside of your country, you will consider every single rule and every single change, because you're not a citizen of that country. So that's why you have to be prepared.
Yes, always be prepared. Always on the toes.
Exactly.
Nice. Well, this has been very, very insightful and useful and delightful for me. So I'm very grateful for your time. And is there any parting ideas, thoughts that you would like to share to the audience?
What do you want me to share?
Anything that comes to mind as like a little goodbye note?
Be a Nike. Just do it.
Just do it. You heard it here, folks. That was another episode.
Thank you, Fata.
Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate your time. And yeah.
Appreciate you having me here as well.
Of
and
course.
I'm happy that we did this.
Yeah, we managed to do it, right?
Exactly.
Better late than never.
Yeah.
Hey.
Thank you guys for watching us.
Thanks, everybody. See you on the next one.